Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is hashtag Movie and Stitch for my letter N movie, N as in Needful Things. And I'm going to discuss my movie, which was Needful Things, show you my project I worked on, and then let you know my next movie pick. So we're just going to hop right on into it. I watched Needful Things, and I've brought it up here on IMDb on my iPad. So I will let you know its little statistics here. So it was made in 1993, so it's a little bit on the older side. It was rated R, and it was 2 hours long. So its little tagline says, "A mysterious new shop opens in a small town which always seems to stock the deepest desires of each shopper, with a price far heavier than expected." Okay, so this movie was based on a book by Stephen King of the same title, Needful Things. And it is an older movie, so like it's pre-cell phone. You don't see any of that kind of stuff in it. But it is set in the town of Castle Rock, and if anybody here is any Stephen King fans, you know that a lot of his novels take place in Castle Rock. A lot of weird stuff happens in that town. But Leland Gaunt moves in and opens up this shop. It's an antique store called Needful Things. And you meet each like a resident. Like I said, it always seems to have like what that person like really desires. Forgot to tell you who stars in it. Not a lot of people. Ed Harris is in it. Let's see, I don't usually use IMDb on here. Okay, it's got Max von Sydow as Leland Gaunt, Ed Harris as he's the sheriff, Alan Pangborn, Bonnie Bedelia, she plays Polly, she owns the diner. Amanda Plummer, she plays Nettie. Nettie makes the pies at the place, the diner. J.T. Walsh, he plays Danforth. He's like a town councilman, and they call him something Buster, I think is the name. It doesn't disclose why he hates the nickname Buster, but a lot of people call him that. And Ray McKinnon plays Deputy Norris Ridgwick, and he plays in, I know, at least one other Stephen King movie or like series. It was The Stand, the original one. He played Campion, the guard that got away from the facility where the super flu came from. But so Leland Gaunt moves in, and his first customer is a young boy named Brian, and he asks Brian basically, like, you know, pretty much what do you want? Like, if there was one thing that I had, you know, and what would it be? And he says it's a baseball card. He says that him and his dad used to collect them. He doesn't say that his dad has passed on or that his dad has left or anything, so you don't really know, but you know that his dad's not around. So sure enough, Leland has the card, and he charges Brian 95 cents, which is all the money Brian has. And it's like a Mickey Mantle card, so it's like worth some money. Charges him 95 cents in a favor. A prank, really. A prank, and no one will ever know it was Brian who done it. That's what he says. So Brian, being a kid, agrees or whatever. So yeah, and that's pretty much what he wants people to do things for him. And at first, like, Brian's prank was going to the turkey farmer. I think her name was Wilma. I think so. She's real mean. Her and Nettie do not get along. But he goes there and he takes mud from her turkeys, mud and poo, and slings it all over her clean laundry that's hanging out on the line. So of course she's irate about this, and you know, at first he's having, you know, fun. I mean, it's a prank, this mean old lady or whatever. But then Mr. Gaunt wants him to take apples, the kind of apples that Nettie uses to make her apple pie with, and throw them and like bust out all of the windows in Wilma's house. And Brian doesn't want to do this because he feels that it's like crossing a line. I mean, really, you know, the first prank was crossing a line, but you know, 11, 12-year-old boy probably seen the fun in that. But he sees how this is very not cool, man, not cool. But he does it anyways. But then afterwards, he feels a lot of remorse and a lot of guilt for what he's done, because it really sends Wilma over the edge. And she threatens Nettie's dog, I think his name's Raider, that she's going to skin him alive, kill that dog, blah, blah, blah. So one of the pranks that he asks someone else to do is to skin Nettie's dog. So that person does it, and Nettie finds it, and she loses her marbles, and she goes after Wilma, and her and Wilma end up killing each other. And then after this, Brian sees what he's done, how he played a part in their deaths, and he kind of talks to the Sheriff Pangborn, and then the sheriff is kind of on to Mr. Gaunt. So that's pretty much the premise of the movie. It all like comes to like, you know, a head. Like there's different pranks that are played on different people. I'm calling them pranks loosely because they're just downright like meanness. And that's what Mr. Gaunt wants. He wants these people to turn on each other and to kill each other and have like this mass chaos or whatever. I'm thinking it never comes out and says that he's the devil, but that's what it's implied that he is. It was an entertaining movie. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I mean, it was for an older movie. It was, you know, pretty good. It kept your interest. It was a little bit cheesy at times, especially the parts to do with Polly and Leland like wanting to kiss up on her and all that stuff. But, you know, and I think that because the book is a chunker, I remember that. I didn't read the book, but I remember I had the book and it was a chunker. So I think that you would have got a lot more backstory about each character, like Nettie, and she had an abusive husband who was murdered. So did Nettie murder her husband? It never says in the movie, but it kind of implies that maybe she did, maybe she didn't, I don't know. The book might be worth a read, but I don't think I would waste my time on it. But yeah, so it was a good movie. I rented it from Amazon. I think it was like $3.99. Yeah, it wasn't worth the $3.99 that I paid to watch it, but it's more of a free Netflix kind of movie that, you know, you're just wasting some time or whatever. But I wouldn't suggest renting it. I mean, it's not that entertaining. That's that. So, because it's so hot, I'm going to have to take a drink of tea. It's just so hot. And then it'll all of a sudden be cold. It's like there's no in-betweens anymore, I feel like. But my square that I made, as always, I make the same square, use the same pattern, Maria's Blue Crayon, Granny Square 2.0. I use the same appliques. It's from the Moogly blog. It's the alphabet letters. And here's the N. My little N kind of looks a little wonky, but my big N turned out pretty good. Little N, not so good. Big N, good. So for the colors, this was a Yarn Bee Mini Maker in Aqua. And then this is, I love this yarn in Fruit Salad. I always use the Fruit Salad for the letters because it has all of these like color specks in it. And I think that it'll just go with all of the blanket overall. So that was my square for the week. Yes, I got it finished up this morning. I made the square when I watched the movie, and then I just could not bring myself to make the appliques. I don't know why, but I was like, I got to get it done because pretty soon it's going to be my old movie. I don't want to get off track because, you know, I have to do another double feature because I put myself an additional week behind so that I could get my videos to be not on the same week as my podcast videos. So I need to do another double feature, and I was thinking maybe like S&T or RNS, but I don't know. So yeah, so I gotta stay on track. So my old movie's coming up, and speaking of my old movie, I'm going to watch Our Friend, and I found it on Amazon Prime Video. Because I'm an Amazon Prime member, you know, it's free on Amazon Prime. It looks really good. It's got Casey Affleck, Dakota Johnson, and what's his name? Jason Segel, maybe? Jason Segel? I'm not sure. But it looks to be very interesting, and I hope that it is so good. Okay, so that's all I've got for this video, and I will see you guys again in my next #Movie and Stitch video. Bye.